All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand?
Unbelievable. Yeah, Balls, what's happening, my man?
Okay, Balls, what's on your mind?
Hi, I'm Gilbert Godfrey, and you're listening to the Balls from Something Show.
Welcome back, cats. This is another episode of the Balls from Ellwood show. This week, we have a lot to talk about. We have, as always, Tina in the Depravity Corner, and I do believe she has another great one for you, as always. This episode, we're also going to be talking about some films that I was able to check out over the 4th of July weekend. I'll tell you a little bit about those. But most importantly, I'm just gonna dive right into the show, cats. We lost, another whackpacker, and it seems to me like they're dropping like flies at this point. And I want to take the first few segments of the show, and I want to remember the man, the myth, the legend that was, in fact, Evil Dave Letterman. I've been listening religiously to the show since the early '90s. I started watching E-shows with my grandpap. I remember, that was my fondest memories. But as far back as I can remember, I always remember him being entertaining. And I can think of many, many things that he's always did to make me laugh. And his performances were always a hit, whether he fucked up or whether he was on point. They were always a slam dunk, in my opinion, cats. So, I mean, in this, in this tribute, I'd like this to be a glowing tribute to another fallen whackpacker. I mean, it just upsets me so that we're losing so many. I mean, it feels weird being a fan for so long. And then as you get older, you see, the people that you've listened to and you've loved for all these years age with you. And when you see these people that make you laugh over the years that you take for granted, whether they be, regular staff or, guests or whackpackers, falling and dropping around you, like, it just reminds you of your mortality, and it's a bummer, man. Like, so let's not be sad this show, cats. Let's celebrate the life of Evil Dave. I mean, I don't know exactly what had happened. I mean, I seen his obituary, and I had seen that you could donate to Cancer Society. I mean, so I don't know if that is in fact what he passed from, but I'd like to now remember the man, the myth, the legend, Evil Dave. Always entertained me and always made me laugh. I was always a fan, so I'm going to play some bits that I thought was, really funny and entertaining. And, I wish I could have found the one with the potato chips, man. I couldn't pull the audio for that, but, I mean, if you guys listen to the show like I do, you'll remember what I was talking about. But just a clip of him eating those potato chips almost makes me piss my pants. So, I mean, I couldn't find it on YouTube. I couldn't dig around and find it in older shows that I had. So, I mean, that by far, I think, is one of my favorites. But I have plenty to play for you cats, too. So let's play these, and let's give tribute to Evil Dave. So here's the first one starting out. It's a little call he did to a gay bathhouse, and God damn it, every time I hear it, it makes me almost wreck my car. So check this out, cats, and there'll be plenty more to follow. Like I said, we're paying tribute to Evil Dave these first few segments, and also, if you would like to email the show, you'd like to share your favorite moments of, when Evil Dave would call in or sit in. I mean, he would always call in, he'd always sit in, and they'd be fucking with him, or else he'd be, doing these calls and whatnot, and always a fun time, man. So call in, not call in, but email me at wendychops1976 @gmail.com and share your favorite Evil Dave memory, and I'll read it on the air. Other than that, if you would like to, donate to my show or any of the other incredible talent we have here at the Gonzo Podcast Network, feel free to go to gonzopodcast.com, and you will see the means to do so. We have plenty of great entertainment, and I'll be touching later on in this episode as well. I just had the opportunity, Tina and I had the opportunity to, in fact, check out Serial Killer Jack's new show, and we're going to be reviewing that later on and we'll talk about that. But here we go, cats. Here's the Evil Dave calling a gay bathhouse, and we'll be back after this.
Hey, play some Evil Dave stuff. Wait, I have some tape of Dave.
I mean, that's what he does.
They hated this.
Can I help you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Very good. My name's Vinny Favale. Are you familiar with David Letterman?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We'd like to make some arrangements to shut down the club for a couple of hours and have him come in.
Have him come in where?
To the gay bathhouse.
Have David Letterman come into the bathhouse.
Well, hold on, because here's Rupert. Rupert happens to be David's lover. Hold on.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Rupert. I'm in with Dave.
Okay.
We want to find a little bit about your facilities.
All right.
Let me put Dave on the phone.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Is this the, have I got the bathhouse?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me ask you something now, because, this is very, between us.
No problem.
All right. Now, are there towel boys available?
They're not towel boys.
Yeah.
But there are guys in here, customers who come in here who wear towels.
All right. And what's your nationality?
My nationality?
Yeah.
I'm African American.
Oh, black.
Yes.
I love it. So you're pretty well hung, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty well hung.
I have a lot of money, and I know you black people like a lot of money.
Well, I would assume any nationality like
What do you say we get together? Your penis and my money. We've got internships coming up pretty soon.
But I'm sure you can find.
Stop laughing, you homo. Are you a top or a bottom, sir?
I'm a verse.
Oh, fantastic.
Jesus Christ.
So your log is brown and you want to get it browner, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I think we could do that.
So you guys come in?
You ever get a little mud on the helmet?
Unfortunately, but don't like it.
Are you a big fan of Paul Schaefer's?
Yeah, sure. He's a great musician.
You could taste his ass on my cock. I pay him in cock, and he sucks a big dick.
How can I help you? Because I have other customers right now.
Can I fuck you in the ass, sir?
No.
We'll make it a stupid human trick.
Are you guys coming down here?
I'll give you my top 10 inches. How would that be? Hey, are you there? Homo. Hello, homo. Fudge packer. Yoo-hoo.
No matter how many times I hear that, it always makes me laugh, Cat. So, up next in our tribute to the man, the myth, the legend, Evil Dave Letterman, Evil Dave tries to call and adopt a black child, and wackiness ensues. So, I'm going to play this one for you as well. So buckle up, cats. Here's Evil Dave calling to adopt a black child. Check it out.
Hello, agency.
Hello. Is this the adoption agency?
This is the adoption agency. Can I help you?
Hi. You know who this is?
No.
My name is Dave Letterman. I have a TV show here in New York City.
Oh, I know you.
Yeah. Are you a fan of me?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This is a personal, private call. I just want this to be kept discreet if we could.
Absolutely. Every call I have is confidential.
All right, very good. I just want to let you know we want to adopt a black child, and
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I specialize.
Let me ask you something. Now, how long does the process take?
With an African American placement, it is a lot faster than normal.
Well, now I prefer a light-skinned black, as close to white as possible. Sort of like Paula Abdulish.
There is more than one kind of African American child.
All right. Now, are the light-skinned blacks, are they less rambunctious?
What does that mean?
Are they rowdy?
No, it all depends on how you raise them.
Let me ask you this, can I return him after my ratings go up? Because, once these guys get older, I hear they can get pretty dangerous.
What are you talking about? No.
Because I don't want my girlfriend to get in trouble or anything like that.
I don't understand.
Now, will I be insured in case things go missing from my house, like a TV or a boom box?
Well, what are you talking about?
And can these kids play basketball yet? I'm sorry, these are new children. I don't want my girlfriend to get raped. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
Do you guys give out coupons with the child? You know, like for grape juice and spare ribs, that kind of thing?
You got to be kidding me.
No, it's not. No, I'm very serious.
These are newborn babies, bundles of joy that you parent from day one.
As far as feeding him, can I put a watermelon through a juicer?
What?
No, do you conduct tests on the kids too? Because I don't want a gay one.
This is a totally inappropriate conversation, and I'm going to
I've had a few drinks. I'm sorry.
You had a few drinks? It's only 1:30 in the afternoon.
Well, you know, I love Sinbad. Can I get one that looks like him?
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm really a very loving person. I didn't mean to upset or offend anybody.
If you wind up becoming a parent of an African-American child, I sure hope you don't joke like that.
Do they come with a cage?
This is a totally inappropriate conversation, and if you're serious, come in and file an application.
Well, I need a playmate for Paul Schaefer.
You know what, Mr. Letterman? Thanks for wasting my time.
No, I mean, does the agency provide me with separate dining facilities for my black son?
Get the hell off my phone.
Do you douche with coconut juice?
Fuck off.
Hello? You racist.
And I gotta say that it still makes me laugh after all this time. Just like this one coming up. And the thing that makes me laugh about this one coming up is the Evil Dave calls a rabbi, and he wants to convert to Judaism. And, you know, the rabbi, he seems like a really cool dude, man. Like, he plays along with it, and, you know, he's having a good time laughing at him, man. I don't think he realizes, like, he's not David Letterman, or if he did, but he's having a good time, and he's not uptight in the slightest. So, I mean, that kind of makes this phony phone call even better, so check it out, cats. And this, like I said, we're having a tribute and a memorial to the man, the myth, the legend, Evil Dave Letterman. Hopefully he's in a better place and he's not suffering, and we're just paying tribute by playing some of these phony phone calls. I don't think he'd want us to be sad about it. I think he'd want us to remember him in a positive light and making people laugh, and so this one definitely does that for me. So check it out, cats. Evil Dave pranking a rabbi. Check it out.
Hello, this is Rabbi.
Hey, I'm David Letterman. Ever hear of me?
How are you?
I used to have a TV show until CBS replaced me with this bag of donkey dicks named Stephen Colbert. Kidding. I'm just kidding.
I loved you when you were on, and I love him too.
So here's the deal. I want to convert to Judaism. Can you help?
Sure, I can help. And I would do it in a way that is the most sane, efficient, and loving.
What are those curly mabobs on the sides of Jews' heads?
Those are called payas. You don't need to grow one. I think your beard does plenty.
Good. What the hell is gefilte fish? Because they look like Larry King's balls.
That's what they are. No, whether it's mixed fish that's made into a patty.
How do you say Paul Schaefer is a fag in Hebrew?
I actually don't know.
Saying Jews run show business is bad, right?
You know, they run everything.
Even though they totally do, right?
That's right.
All I know is I've been to Hollywood, and I've met the people who run things, and guess what? They ain't Korean.
So, would you like me to set up an appointment?
Of course.
Okay.
So, if I became Jewish, will I have to eat brisket and call black people Schwarzes?
You can do whatever you want. Judaism is not something that you obey or do. It's something that you are.
Oh, goody. What's the deal with matzahs?
What's the deal with them?
Do you think God really gives a shit if we eat crackers?
I don't think God cares.
That has to be the most laid-back rabbi I've ever heard, cats. But coming up next in this next clip, we have the late, great Riley Martin. And, you know, Evil Dave, you're not even safe from Evil Dave if you're, you know, you're another whack-packer part of the show. So, in this one, Evil Dave calls and pranks the late, great Riley Martin. So, I don't want to give too much away, but another one of my favorites. So, check this one out, cats. Evil Dave pranks Riley Martin.
Hello?
Hi, this is Riley Martin there, please?
This is he.
Hi, this is Dave. How you doing?
Dave.
Dave Letterman. Listen, I heard your show on Sirius Monday night, and I thought it was a hoot, and you're an amazing...
Okay, hold him up, Dave.
Yeah.
This is Dave Letterman.
Yes.
How did you get this number?
From Paul Schaefer.
And, okay.
And I just want to know you're an amazing talent, and if we can, I'd love to do some things with you. And,
yeah.
And the deal is, Paul Schaefer has also been abducted.
A lot of people have over time.
You know Paul Schaefer, right?
I believe that he is your sidekick.
Yeah. He claims he was butt fucked by a Martian.
Yeah.
By the way, you've got a very sexy voice. I just want to say that right now. Do you mind if I pleasure myself to your voice?
Well, do so.
All right. How did it all start?
My experiences started when I was 7 years old, man.
Right.
And ultimately, I'm sure that my experiences happened at that time so that I would one day meet stupid motherfuckers like you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then be awakened out of a nice sleep after having been up most of the night working on my cymbals.
You know,
by some fucking idiot who is wasting my valuable time.
Just like a black guy to sleep past noon, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's just like
I'm gonna come.
It's just like a shit-eating redneck to call a black guy.
Yeah. All right. Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Fuck you. All right.
Yeah.
How many alien favors can you take?
I got you, didn't I?
Yeah. Would you be willing to let Paul Schaefer dress up as a Martian and fuck you in your black ass?
Yeah. You cocksucker. You lame butt-fucking cocksucker.
Yeah.
I hope that we shall meet whoever is making this call, because I will rip you another asshole, you cocksucker.
What does alien semen taste like?
Bye-bye.
How about a butt cock?
And we're back, cats. As I said before, we're doing a tribute to the great evil Dave Letterman. One of my favorite things, I have to admit, is, in fact, the thing that fascinates me about him is, most people work hard to try to develop an impersonation and put on a voice. The most engaging thing about Evil Dave was that was just the way he was born and the way he talked. And, goddamn it was so close to David Letterman, it's creepy, but it's just amazing. As you'll see here in this next clip where Evil Dave calls about information for an online school program. So, buckle up, cats. Here it is. Evil Dave pranks an online school. Another one of Ball's favorites. Check it out.
Hello.
Hi, David.
Yeah.
Hi, David. This is Institute Online.
Uh-huh.
How are you doing today?
What do you need?
Did you request information on the graphic design program?
Yeah.
What actually got you interested in the program?
Well, no, I was talking last night with my girlfriend, and it just occurred to me that it can never hurt to have too much education if you can help it.
I mean, I can go over all the program with you. Are you looking for an intern, or are you just looking for actually all...
No, I'm thinking about attending, actually. If
you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to go over all the program with you right now?
Yeah, give me a little description of the course.
This is kind of an amazing phone call for me.
All right.
We got a diploma program, bachelor's, and we got an associate.
Let me ask you one quick question here. What race is majority of the students?
I'm not 100% sure. It's all online, so we actually, you never actually come face to face with them.
I want to make sure I'm online with a white person.
You probably will be. Everybody that's actually teaching is they got like a master's.
Right. Now, how do I know how old the other person is online, because I don't want to get in trouble about this thing.
Everybody's out of high school. I'll tell you that much.
Dang.
I'll tell you what. I can actually send you some information.
What ethnicity are you?
I am Caucasian.
Caucasian? All right. Perfect. Those darkies, they give me a stomach ache. So white is right, and that's good to know.
Okay. April 2nd might be a good start date for you.
I'm going to cut right to the chase. I'm just real fucking horny right now. Can we get something going?
I can't.
Yeah. Can you whisper, "Touch me, David"?
No.
All right. I'll hit myself in the balls if you don't whisper.
Go ahead.
Ow!
I'll go ahead and send you that information.
Do it, fucker.
All right.
Are you a fan of Paul Schaefer's?
Oh, a little bald guy.
Paul Schaefer's jacking off in the corner.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So crazy.
Oh, he's nuts. Could me and Paul meet you there tomorrow?
if you guys come down to meet us, sign up for school, take out to lunch maybe.
I want you for lunch.
I'm a little bit too big to handle.
Oh, all right. Well, yum, yum. I like linebackers.
A little bit bigger than a linebacker.
What would you be wearing to lunch?
Just a regular work outfit.
Could you wear something real tight?
Nah, I'm a little bit bigger. Everything is a little tight.
Uh-huh.
So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and get that sent out to you. I got,
Well, you know, my ass is tight.
Oh, I am?
Yeah. Do you have a hard-on?
No.
All right. What's your length?
I got to cut you loose, my man.
Oh, no, I just got to find this out here.
I got to cut you
What's your girth?
I got to cut you loose.
Did you used to play a little X-football?
And we're back, cats, and as I said, we're celebrating the life of Evil Dave Letterman. Another favorite of mine coming up here is the time Evil Dave calls a pharmacy, and he's trying to find out how he can get his boner to go down because he's taking Viagra and it's not went down yet. And this always almost makes me piss my pants. So I hope you cats enjoy it as much as I still do after all these listens. Check it out.
Good morning, Pharmacy. Nina speaking.
Hi, I'm Dave Letterman. I used to have a show on CBS. Ever heard of me?
Oh, how about that?
I've got a problem. I hope you can help me.
Let you talk to a pharmacist. John, David Letterman, he's got the ranch up here, and he just needs a question answered for a drug or something.
Hello?
Hi, this is David Letterman.
Yes.
I have a little problem. I bought Viagra at your pharmacy, and I still have an erection, and it's been over 4 hours.
Pardon?
Don't they cover this at pharmacy school?
No, when I graduated, it wasn't. The drug wasn't available yet.
How can I make my boner go down?
Listen, you need to just get off the phone with me and get to a hospital.
I've tried everything. Stared at pictures of Oprah, thought about baseball. I tried yelling at my erection, "Down, boy!" Nothing worked.
You know, if you're serious,
Down, boy!
If you're
Down,
serious,
boy! Down, boy!
It is a medical emergency.
I've got a serious problem. I'm so hard I can't get my dick out of Sabrina.
Okay, well, who's Sabrina?
Yeah, Sabrina is a sheep.
Well, I would take the sheep and you to the nearest veterinarian or MD.
Hey, I'm happy. The sheep is happy. Who's the victim?
Where's your ranch?
If you had sex with a sheep, does that make you bisexual? Wow, this sheep is tighter than the CBS page I used to fuck.
But like I said, seriously, if you're having that problem, you need to go to the nearest ER.
Well, I guess I'll just have to fuck this sheep and get it over with.
No, you need to go to an ER.
Oh,
okay.
I love you, Paul.
Goodbye.
And there you have it, cats. We might not have them in the flesh, but we do, in fact, have them in our memories, and we do have all this great material to look back on and to bring us a laugh every time we hear it. So, again, I just want to say, rest in peace, Evil Dave. Thank you for all the years of laughter. You always entertained me, and you were always one of my favorites. So, we love you. We're in rest in peace. And, like I said, this was just a cross-section of the things that I enjoy. There's so much. So, go on YouTube and check it out. And, you know, the legacy of Evil Dave will always live on. His sense of humor and, all his calls and appearances. So, you can always look back on that, and it's we'll still have a special place for him in our heart, cats. So, that's my tribute. Peace and love. And there you have it. Rest in peace, Evil Dave. We loved you. And on a lighter note, cats, I'd actually like to tell you about a couple flicks I had the privilege to check out. First off, I'm going to start off with a little gem I watched called The Domestics. I really dug this flick, and here is why. It blended two of my favorite kind of genres of film. I mean, I love like the post-apocalyptic kind of Mad Max kind of thing. And I am also a very big fan of the old film, Walter Hill, The Warriors. This movie does very well at blending it's all two of these movies together. I mean, whoever made this obviously was very influenced by these films, and just a hybrid of this together makes for a really entertaining film. The synopsis is there's a estranged husband and wife, and it's kooky, man. There's like the government sprays down like this black shit in the ozone, and it kills a good majority of the population. And it's, it's never so much really explained, but that brings forth like, the post-apocalypse. Everybody's kind of surviving, trying to be on their own, like The Walking Dead, and so everybody bands into these different gangs, and some of the gangs. There's one called the Spikers, and they have like these crazy helmets with spikes on them, and there's a gang called the Gamblers, and they got some crazy. They wear these crazy fucking animal heads, and if they catch you, they spin these fucking roulette wheels in their back, and if it lands in a skull, they'll just kill you right then and there. But if it doesn't, they'll take you back to the lair and force you to compete in games of chance for your life, which I thought that was a pretty cool premise. And there's a gang called the Plowboys, and so on and so on. There's other gangs and different things. I don't want to tell you too much, but this husband and wife, they're estranged. They're kind of falling out of love with each other, but the husband still wants to be with her. So they're the whole premise of the film is they're trying to make it back to Milwaukee because they haven't heard from her mom, and which I guess is unheard of. So it's almost reminds me of the Warriors, where like they're trying to get to it's like they're counting down. They're like, oh, so many days to Milwaukee, somebody there, just like it reminded me of the Warriors a lot. Reminds me of Mad Max a lot. It reminds me of an 80s kind of action movie, and that always makes me feel pretty good. I love that kind of shit. So if you're looking for a cool kind of like different post-apocalyptic violent kind of film, I highly recommend it. I mean, there's some Blackley comic moments. There's some good action, and it's kind of got a cool little story, cats. I mean, that's probably the coolest thing I've seen in a while. And then so then that leads me to my next movie, which you cats know my affinity for bad film and how much I love it. I actually watched Rampage over the weekend, the 4th of July weekend, and believe it or not, I didn't hate it. I'm not going to say that I loved it, but just the very fact that they could have pulled off a 2-hour film on a video game, with a premise that's one sentence long is pretty amazing. I mean, is there a lot of ridiculous shit in it? Absolutely. Is it the CGI pretty terrible? Yeah, it is. Is The Rock believable as a scientist? What the fuck do you think? Of course not. But I have to say, I had fun watching it. Like it's such a I like to label these movies crapster pieces, because like they're terrible. Going in they're fucking terrible. But I have a blast watching it. So like if you like shitty movies like I do, and this is surely a shitty film, if you're gonna love this movie. I mean, if you like garbage, just shit that's so bad that it's just it's fun to watch. If you have 2 hours of your life that you never need back, and you won't regret losing, I mean, I say, hey, check it out, man. I didn't regret it. Like, I've always been a fan of the video game too, but I mean, that doesn't really amount to too much, because I mean, it's not it's not really represented all that much in this film. But I mean, other than, I was, they are the names from the games, which George and Lizzie, and I can't remember the other one, but it was it was a fun watch, kids. So I mean, if you want to, like I said, if you have nothing else to do on a rainy day and that comes on, you could surely find shittier films, like it's not like you're going to be watching Quote Face or Legend of Quote Face. That's probably the worst film ever made. So, but anyway, I'm moving right along. I also, speaking of video games, I've actually I've just been playing. I just acquired the new Crash Bandicoot game. It's for PS4, and I've been having a lot of fun with that with my stepdaughter. She's super into it, and we've been going back and forth and beating the boards. And what they did was they took the first 3 PlayStation 2 games, and they remastered them. And I tell you what, man, if you like those back in the day, I'm thoroughly impressed with the job they did in remastering these games and making them look like next gen. Like, I don't want to bore the fuck out of everybody, but I have to say, I'm quickly, it's definitely worth a pickup, man. Like, it's definitely worth playing through. I'm having just as much fun playing through them again with this newly remastered the thing they put out than I did. I remember back nostalgically when I was younger. So, highly recommend that if you guys like retro gaming, like I do. And speaking of retro gaming, my pick of the week is I actually got turned on to this by my buddy Dan. He was telling me about it, and I've always been a big Castlevania fan. I've loved Castlevania when I was a kid. It's one of my favorite NES games of all time. And here, I didn't know after all these years, the guy that was working on the original Castlevania, as on his own working, he worked on he more or less made it's hard to explain. Like, I guess it's not a sequel, because I guess he don't have the rights to do that, but it is a sequel in spirit, if you will, sequel to Castlevania, and it's called Bloodstains, and it's available on the PS Network now for the very cheap price of $9.99, and it plays like Castlevania. There's power-ups like Castlevania. There's lots of great monsters, and it's a side-scrolling, horror game like Castlevania. So, I mean, if you cats are into that, you're gonna super love it, man, because, like, I can't put it down. So, again, check out Bloodstains, $9.99 on PlayStation Network, and you won't regret it, cats. I love the living shit out of it. So that's my that's why my thumbs have been sore for the past week. So, other than the obvious me jerking my dick off. But moving right along, I'd actually like to get into a review of a good friend of mine. You might know him from the network. His name is Serial Killer Jack. His long-awaited show debuted the other night, and I just, X-Teen and I was able to check it out, and I wanted her in here for this review. I ended up thinking it was worth the wait, cats. I really, really enjoyed it. It was as intriguing as I thought it would be. I've always kind of been fascinated to see what people, makes people like that tick. I think it's cool that, he touches on his relationship with, these madmen, and, has interactions with it. I think it's very, very engaging. I mean, I was definitely thinking it was worth the wait. I think the visuals that they put to it is, creepy too. I think anybody tuning into the GPN and not knowing what the show is probably going to shit their pants. I think that's interesting. But no, I think it's a very excellent show. I think he hit it out of the park, and I also appreciate the little shout out I got from him. I thought that was really cool of him. And but yeah, I mean, my fiance, her, X-Tina, she's super into this stuff too. In fact, she listens to all this stuff, all these podcasts and things about it, and I would like to get her thoughts now. I thought it was really, really good. What's your thoughts about it? I mean, you're more versed in this stuff than me.
Yeah, I thought it sounded amazing. I thought it was like super professional sounding, and he was very engaging and intriguing, and it's just pretty creepy that he makes friends with these people. I don't know that I want to be friends with them. I think that's a little too far, I guess. I don't know.
That is a question I would like to know. Like, I should ask him. I mean, what is the benefit, or what do you get from being friends with a serial killer? Like, I think that's a very interesting question. Like, to pose to him, what is the benefits? What do you get from that relationship?
Well, I think it's like a passion of his, and I think he's getting like I think the reward to him is just like maybe getting inside their minds and maybe it's trying to find the humanity within them. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know. I guess that's a good question. I mean, at least that would be the case for me. Trying to see if there's some speck of humanity. You know, a lot of these killer guys, you know, we chuckle, or like the people, the hosts of these other podcasts I listen to sort of chuckle because, you know, some of them, they won't mess with kids, and or like they'll move like a dog out of the room or something like that, and then they'll put the dog back. So it's like they're really like kind of a nice guy, like, hey, you know, we don't want your kid to see what I'm about to do to you, so I'm going to move them out of the room for you. You know, so I find that interesting.
I think the thing that I think is interesting too, like, I mean, I think Jack is a really good dude. Like, he's supportive of me since I've joined the network. You know, he said he's been a fan of mine for a long time. The only thing that concerns me is I mean, let's say you get into these relationships with these people. Like, I wonder if it's ever crossed, you know, his mind, like, if they ever get out, which I guess most of them are all death row, so I understand that. But the odd occasion that, like, maybe somebody could get out and maybe travel and find him, and, like, you know, I mean, how far down the rabbit hole do you go? Like, I mean, it almost seems like it could be dangerous. So, like, I mean, I wonder if that's ever a thought, but I mean, or if you can even control this person when they get out, if like they did try to find you, if something did happen. I mean, that's my only fear. I think he's a good dude, and I wouldn't want to see nothing happen to him bad. But I mean, I get the fascination. I think it's, you know, it's intriguing. I mean, I get that you would be exhilarated by such a thing. I totally understand it. So yeah, I mean, just us talking about it like this, I'm looking forward to next week. I am definitely a fan. I love the guy. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, and I wanted to give this fair time on the show here, because I definitely think any of you cats that hasn't yet needs to tune in and check that show out. My friend the Serial Killer Bob, my buddy Serial Killer Jack, we both dig it, and other than that, I mean, it's time to you know, to let Xtina do her thing here. I mean, you know her, you love her. It's the Depravity Corner, folks. Take it away. Take it away, my lovely co-host, Xtina.
All right, folks. So, as you know, we are told at a very young age not to take rides from strangers. Isn't that right? Don't take rides from strangers. Don't hitchhike. Don't do all this. But nowadays, we have this magic little app on our fingertips called Uber. And so now we're essentially asking strangers to come please pick us up. And we'll even pay you. How about that? Now, in my personal experience with Uber, I've not really had a bad experience. I've had very cheerful and happy people. I've had maybe one, like, kooky dude, but he didn't really give me, like, a super creepy vibe or anything. Of course, I had balls with me. Maybe if I was alone, I might have been creeped out by him, but you know, other than that, I mean, I've had, you know, a decent experience. I can't complain. Why are you chuckling? Do you remember who I'm talking about?
I do, and that guy was definitely insane, but it's a good thing. I'm usually the creeper outer. I mean, if you don't talk to me, I guess I give the appearance that I look, like, scary, but, I mean, when you talk to me, I'm a fucking loon, so, I mean, I don't know how somebody could get that assumption, but it's funny. I remember the driver that she was, in fact, talking about. I tell you what, he definitely gave me a very strange vibe, so I'm definitely intrigued in this story, so please go ahead.
Okay, so one night in Kalamazoo, Michigan, roughly about 2 years ago, 2016, I believe it was February, cold, snowy February in Michigan. And we have a Uber driver who just started driving for Uber. He's a dad, mid-40s, has a couple kids, married. He's an insurance adjuster, so I mean, he has a normal day job. I forget what the wife did. I think she worked too, and, you know, looking to make, you know, a little bit of scratch, so he decided to drive for Uber. Normal sort of situation, no problem. So he was 2 weeks on the job, and this particular night he picked up this kid, and took him from, I forget where the kid was, but he needed to retrieve his car from wherever he left it the night before. I guess he must have got drunk, took an Uber home, and then had to go back and get his car. So he called an Uber. So this, he gets in the car. He's like, dude's pretty friendly. They are making idle chit chat, and the Uber driver got a phone call while they're driving down the road, and he said I could hear the phone call. He had it on speaker, and he's like, it really wasn't a big deal. But all of a sudden, as soon as he hung up, he started driving completely erratically. Driving like swerving and driving way too fast in say 25 mile per hour zones. He's going 50, blowing through little towns. All of a sudden he's like, he's freaking this kid out, and he's like, okay, dude, do you think you can maybe slow down a little bit? Slow down. You need to calm down. You want to pull over and take a minute or what have you? And then he was going to, he's like, just let me out of the car. At this point, this dude's kind of like, okay, this is not right. So then he still wouldn't slow down, and he's getting closer to his destination. And next thing you know, he sideswipes the car, and they keep going, and this dude's like, okay, there's my destination. There it is right there. He was like a couple blocks away, but he was like, screw this, I'm out. So he gets out, and then he calls 911. And this is my favorite thing about 911 is they don't really seem to give a shit. It's so frustrating. I get that they get so many calls, and they probably get so many calls that are bullshit calls, and so they want to try to get the, good ones, where they feel like they're truly saving lives. But, I've called 911 when I saw an erratic driver before, and I feel like I had a good call, and I feel like it was worth it. So, this guy calls, and they're just like, okay, so your Uber driver was driving erratically. Okay, do you want us to call? You want to patch into the police and talk to them, or do you want us to just report it? He's like, yeah, I don't know what to do. He's like, I just want you to be aware of it. And so they're like, all right, sir. All right, we'll talk to you later. All right, we'll report it. Yeah, that sounded believable. So, okay, whatever. Not so long after that, another 911 call comes in, and a dude's like, yeah, there's this silver car going down the highway, and it's going extremely erratic all over the place, speeding up, slowing down, and I'm really worried that he's going to kill someone. And so they're like, oh, okay, what kind of car is it, yada yada. Again, still not really taking it very seriously, not thinking much of it. And so, but what caused this Uber driver to go on a banshee? The phone call that he got, you would think was his wife called and said she was cheating or something, or you would think maybe his, somebody called and said his mother was dying. No, it was his teenage son asking him to pick up wings when he came home. So, just a random call from your son wanting him to pick up food. That's what set this guy off. So, yeah, it doesn't make much sense. So the dude apparently picked up a couple more people and took them to their destination. And this other set of people agreed that he was driving a little bit erratically. I guess he had calmed down somewhat. But they definitely found it odd enough to, again, place a 911 call. And 911 advised them to just call Uber. So again, we're not taking this too seriously at all. Don't really care. In the meantime, what's his name? Jason Dalton, that is the man's name, decides that he is going to have to go home and switch cars because his car now has a lot of damage to it because he's sideswiped some too many cars at this point, and he's got to go switch it out. So he calls his wife, tells her to meet him at his mother's, and he's going to switch cars and drive her car, I guess. So he still had some more work to do. He was out for a good 5-6 hours this particular night, picking up people. It was a good weekend night, I guess. He's making some bank. So before he leaves, though, he has to go get something very important. His guns. in several magazines. Apparently, according to this Jason character, the Uber app on his phone took charge of his car and took charge of his brain. And when you looked at the app, it had the devil sign. It had the star. It had the pentagram. It had the devil's face. And the devil told him that this was his mission. And the Uber app was driving the car. It wasn't him. He wasn't doing this. It wasn't him driving erratically. The app itself was controlling him and his vehicle. So, folks, with that being said, this satanic Uber app decided to take Mr. Dalton to, I don't know, some townhouse area. And there's, a bunch of people standing outside, and he's trying to find the people who called for the Uber, and he can't find them. And then he's playing phone tag with the girl who called the Uber and can't find her. But there's a lady he pulls up to and goes, "Did you call an Uber?" And she's like, "No." And she's with like a couple of her kids. And all of a sudden, he starts to drive away, but then he changes his mind because, the Uber app told him to. He turns around and goes back and starts shooting at this woman and her children. Well, fortunately, she told her kids, hurry up and run. And there was enough time. They were able to run and get away. She took 4 bullets. 4 bullets, this woman, and she lived to tell about it. And was able to, ultimately, in the long run, testify in court. Thank God. 4 bullets, and he assumed he left her for dead. So he left, went and picked up some more people to ride places. And, of course, 911 was called. They didn't know, I don't think. Well, maybe they did. I guess they did know it was an Uber driver because he was asking if they called Uber. So word got out around the town that there's a crazy Uber driver out there, and he had 2 sets of people that he picked up to take on rides that jokingly said to him, "You're not the psycho Uber driver they're talking about on the news, are you?" And he's like, "Oh my goodness, no. I would never." And these people were in a vehicle with him. And meanwhile, in between, a couple of his rides, he saw, I don't know, like a father and a son looking at some new Chevy trucks at a Chevy dealership. Now, I'd imagine this is probably like 5, 6 o'clock at night, from what I understand. So it's probably still maybe slightly light out, but it's February, so probably not too light. Anyway, he pulls into this dealership where he had his eye on this black BMW, and he tried opening it. I don't know if he was I guess he was going to try to steal it. But he ends up walking over to the 2 men looking at this truck and starts talking to them and asking them, what they were looking at and why they were looking at it. And as soon as they started to answer him, bam, bam, shot them both in the head dead. And all because these poor guys were just looking at a vehicle. And then he drove off and drove away. What he did not know was, in their actual vehicle, the 2 men, the man's son had a girlfriend, and she was in the truck hiding when she saw this take place, and she was calling 911. So she had not only a description of the driver, the story of what happened, and the type of car and everything. So, needless to say, once again, we're looking for this psycho. A little more time goes by, and I think he had to go home and find... he had to go home and get different guns. He had to switch guns and get more magazines or something like that. I guess he ran out of bullets. And so he goes back home, goes back out, and decides to he pulls into this Cracker Barrel. Now, I don't know if anybody actually called for an Uber there. That's not real clear. But lo and behold, there was these couple people, older ladies, and one of their granddaughters, a 14-year-old girl who they had, I guess, eaten at the Cracker Barrel earlier, went to a play, and then, one of them left their car back at the Cracker Barrel. They all traveled together. We all do this all the time. So they stopped back at the Cracker Barrel after the play was over to go pick up their individual vehicles, and lo and behold, up drives Mr. Dalton with his gun and starts shooting at them while they're in their car. All four of these women are shot and presumably killed. Another woman in a minivan also got shot in the head. By some sort of miracle, the 14-year-old girl had crouched down in the passenger side of the car and was able to somehow, after getting shot in the head, still be alive, and was life-flighted to a hospital where, her parents, of course, were called and told that she was shot in the head. You need to get to this hospital right away. And the mother's like, how long do I have? They're like, probably not long. Get there as soon as you can. So they're prepared to go and see their daughter die. So they get there. And, basically, I guess they had done all these operations and whatnot. And she was clinging to life. And it got to the point where they said, she's going to be a vegetable. There's nothing we can do. At one point they pronounced her dead, and her mom's like, I don't accept that. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to hold her hand. And the mom's holding her daughter's hand and, talking to her as a mother would do. And this girl squeezes her mother's hand. And she's like, oh my God, did you just squeeze my hand? Can you, do you hear me? Do you know I'm here? Please do that again. And this is after they pronounce this little girl dead. I feel like this is another thing that's irritating that we could have another show about. Is like hospitals, I feel like sometimes they just don't give a shit either. They're like, oh, well, too bad. They don't want to put any effort into things. Maybe they were tired that night. I don't know. That's horrible to think, but I'm sure it happens, unfortunately. So the mother's like, no, my daughter is not dead. I asked her if she knew I was here to squeeze my hand, and she did. I know she's still in there. So they, took another look at her. I don't know if they did the, shocking thing or whatever they did, but ultimately this little girl was alive. And not only was she alive, she recovered. Granted, with months and months of rehab, but they played like a little clip of her that they had done interviews. She sounds perfectly normal. I'm sure she's not ever the same, but from what I understand, she gets around, she sounds like she can, but she had to learn how to walk, how to talk, how to eat. She had to learn all that crap again, but she did it. And talk about a true freaking miracle. So, I guess in all this badness, that was the good thing that happened. But ultimately, that of course got reported again, the Cracker Barrel incident, and they got a good read on his car, they got the license, and so of course the cops were, on a Superman hunt trying to find this guy. And ultimately, after him going around, this was like a 5 to 7 hour period of the day, they finally barricaded him. They caught him, and the cops, I guess how they bum rush your car essentially to make you pull over, and they barricade you. And then one would assume that this man probably was going to then just shoot himself in the head, but he didn't. He didn't take the coward's way out, which I guess I'll give him that. But he did say that that the app is satanic and the app made him do it. So there's that. I don't know about you, but my Uber app has not yet shown me the ways of Satan. I guess there's always that to look out for. I pray that doesn't happen, but we'll have to keep an eye out on your Uber app, folks, because it's a little bit scary. But ultimately, This man got sent to prison. And another thing that was weird, too, is, the cops, again, automatically assumed that his wife and kids would be dead. And lo and behold, they were not. They were never touched. He has not a violent past. He had no criminal history. So, I mean, the weird thing is, I mean, it almost does make this story remotely believable. I mean, the man never had a criminal history, never beat his wife, never had, any violence in his life, had a normal upbringing. This was just the day that he snapped. And so it is very, very odd that it happened. But they did test him to see if he was, able to stand trial. They did deem him fit to stand trial. He is pleading insanity. And now, as you know, our lovely court system, things seem to take forever and a day. I guess they've had a preliminary hearing, but that's as far as they've gotten in 2 years. He is still awaiting trial in jail somewhere in the Kalamazoo, Michigan area. So again, if you want to catch up more about this nutty nutball, and oh my God, you have to look at him. He is nutty looking. Like, it is pretty, I mean, some of these, like, I almost felt bad for the guy, and then I looked at his picture, and I know, so judgmental, but oh my God. If you see this guy's picture, it's like, oh yeah, of course he did this. I mean, the fact that, like, painting him as a good father and husband is almost, like, bizarre to think about when you look at this guy's picture. It's like, oh my gosh, how did he not do this sooner? It's amazing. So, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, maybe he truly is insane, or maybe Satan lives in the Uber app, folks. That's for you to decide. What do you think, boss?
I think it's fucking hysterical, man, and here's why. Like, I can't even get half my apps to work right half the time when they update them, but, like, this motherfucker is contacting Old Scratch himself and getting specific directions on who to kill. I think that's, well, I tell you what, man, I don't know. Maybe, I'd be afraid to see what Lyft's gonna do then. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that must have been a hell of an update, so. But anyway, I mean, but you know what the most weird thing I find is, like you had brought up earlier, I mean, there's always this, same kind of underlying similarity in all these things that I hear you say each week. Everybody's, they have these fits and outbursts of violence and rage, but their kids are fine. They don't do anything with their kids. They don't beat them. They don't kill them. They don't, they don't do anything of that nature. So, I mean, that's very strange and bizarre to begin with. So, I mean, I always find that fascinating. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's nice to know, though, like, if I want to sell my soul to the devil and I want to start doing his deeds, all I got to do now is simply download the Uber app now. So, I mean, other than that, in closing, I mean, you've done it again, Xtina. I just, I don't, I'm glad. It's funny, I was reflecting the other day how the whole thing started, and I mean, I think I mentioned this before early when we started doing the show. I mean, she's truly into all this stuff, and like, it's to, I'm not a dude. I mean, I like to hear about it, but I don't like to hear about it, every day. So I mentioned to her, like, hey, why don't you, like, save all this stuff and just put it into the show. Now, now I almost feel like it's like crack cocaine to me. So I'm constantly kind of, so I get where you're coming from. Now I'm kind of always like, oh, what's she gonna do this week? So I think, as usual, you've outdone yourself. Would you like to say anything in closing? Because we're gonna wrap this week's episode of Balls from Ellwood show up. Would you like to say anything else?
I guess I would like to say, be careful when you get in an Uber, folks. I mean, that shit's nuts.
Yeah, it's not like it's not expensive enough already. I mean, now you're going to watch out. You're going to get killed, too. But anyway, folks, thanks again for joining us this week. Thanks for joining me and Xtina. We have a lot to look forward to next week. We will be entertaining your ass as always. If you would like to, in fact, donate to our show or many of the other great shows you have here at the Gonzo Podcast Network, feel free to log on to www.gonzopodcast.com. Other than that, we will see you next week, cats, with lots of more depravity, lots of more, great stories. And also, I just want to enclose real fast before I let you go. Balls has been jamming. This has been the month of music for Balls. If you are into the punk rock and ska scene, I've had some great releases come out this month. I've been jamming too, and you can check them out on Spotify. You can check them out on, all your major music outlets. This month, I've been highly recommending you the new album from the Interrupters. And I can't stop. I got that on replay over and over and over again. The new album by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones I absolutely love, and I've been listening to the shit out of the new Mad Caddies. It's called I think it's called Punk Rock Steady, and the concept is awesome. They take old punk rock songs and they make them kind of like rock steady and ska. And they do a great cover of the old Green Day song "She." So, highly recommend checking those out, cats. I'll play you off with a little clip of the Mad Caddies doing a cover of Green Day's "She" from Dookie. See if you like it. So I'll play you out with that. And we will see you cats next week. I love y'all. Peace and love.
She screams in silence, a solid riot penetrating through her mind. Wait till for a sign to smash the silence with a brick of self-control. Are you locked up in a world that's been planned up for you? Are you feeling like a social tool without a use? Well, scream at me until my ears bleed, and I'm taking heed just for you. She's figured out all her doubts were someone else's point of view. Waking up this time to smash the silence with a brick of self-control. Are you locked up in a world that's been planned up for you? Are you feeling like a social tool without a use?
It's funny how, people are on Facebook like Benji, and they go right on.
Facebook Live.
But one day we're going to invent that.
Periscope, everybody. High-pitch airing of the show.
High-pitch, I can see him in living color. Funny side note, yes.